and welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are having an awesome day. Today we'll be making these super cool cards, and they're very easy to make. Anyone can make them, yet they look professionally done. So I have my cup of water, my sheet of Canson XL watercolor paper that's trimmed. I have my size 8 round brush, and I think the brand is Master's Touch, which is a Hobby Lobby brand, and my Magellan Mission Gold watercolors. So first I'm starting off on the right hand side and drawing like a circle shape with a warm yellow. So I think this is like a cadmium. And with the cadmium I am drawing a circle, the cadmium yellow, and then I will take, in this particular set it's a peacock blue, which is like bluish greenish color, and I apologize for the camera's autofocus here, and it's like a rough circle shape, like almost like a big paint splatter. And then I am going to heat set it with my craft heat tool just to make it dry faster. You could let this air dry, of course, but I prefer to heat set it because I was a little impatient. And I'm going back with those same colors, and I'm adding a second layer. Not exactly the same shape as the first one, that way it adds dimension and makes it look cooler. And I'm going back with the cadmium yellow and doing the same thing. That way it gives it a natural look and it gives it more dimension. And then I am going to heat set it again and let it dry with the heat tool. And I'm going to take a magenta color, like a mix between a red and a purple and a pink. And I'm going to make a center splotch or splatter touching both the yellow and the blue, but you have to work quickly because if you wait too long the colors will mix and you'll get a muddy color. So I did a light shade with a little bit of water, and I'm going to roughly do the shape. I'm going to heat set it, and then I'm going to use the same color, just go again, rough outline, and it adds a lot of dimension, which makes it look super cool. And by the way, this card is very easy, doesn't require anything special to do. Then I am done with my paints, and I'm going to heat set it for a final time to make sure it's dry and ready to use for embossing powder. And I heat set the back to make sure it doesn't warp and bend and create this weird, like really bumpy card. So I'm going to be using an American Crafts embossing pen, and it's in the medium tip. And I'm writing my greeting down. You could write anything you want. I've done these cards in thank you and happy birthday. I think the thank you cards look more elegant. And I make sure the calligraphy goes from one edge all the way to the other edge. And then I put a sheet of printer paper that I use to dump my embossing powder, and I'm using white embossing powder. I'm not sure exactly which brand this is, but it could be any brand. My personal favorites are the Ranger ones because they stick really well. I forgot to do it in this video, but I also usually use an anti-static powder tool before I put the embossing on. So I dump it on the card, I let it drip from the card, or shake it off the card into the sheet of paper, and then I put it back in the jar because you can use it for next time. Next, I'm going to heat set the embossing powder till all of it melts. And you can tell when it's melted when it has this glossed over look. but make sure not to touch it because it will leave your fingerprint in the embossing powder when it's still hot. And this does take a while sometimes to melt. If your heat tool is nice and hot, it'll take less time. So I'm going to make sure it's fully heat set, and then my card front is ready. You don't have to emboss it. You could use a Sharpie and handwrite a greeting, or gel pen, or anything you have. And then once the embossing powder is melted, I'm going to grab my card front, which is Staples cardstock that comes in printer size paper. And I cut it in half and I fold it. I add my glue dots, which are Zots medium. They come in a green box, and I adhere my card front to it. I handwrite my phrase on the back, and voila, there's your card. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up and subscribe. If you enjoyed it, share it with your friends. And here I'm just using a Pilot Juice pen. Thanks.